Hey, so if you guys have seen Epic Family Road Trip, we're standing here with Peter. And if you haven't seen it, check out their channel, Epic Family Road Trip. A super amazing story how this family, and he's going to tell the story, pretty much let go of normal life, exchange time with the family for traveling, and got out of their business, sold their house, hit the road. And the story is amazing, and it's been an inspiration to Natalie, Bailey, and I. So you guys are going to love this. So talking here with Peter, we got a couple questions we want to go over, because I know everybody that has an idea, we want to travel more, we want to hit the road, we want to do that full time. Man, they've done it, and there's a lot of challenges, a lot of thought process that go involved. So Peter, like when you guys were kind of making this decision, I'm going to quit working, or at least change what you're doing big time, sell the house, which was your house.
Right.
So what goes through your mind to even get you just to say, let's sell the house, let's buy it?
Yeah, so we had a dream to go on a road trip for a long time. We had about 5 years. We had written down this dream on a sticky note, put it on our mirror, and shared it as a family. I was working a lot of long hours at the time, and I always shared my dreams with my team at work, our goals and so on. And I thought, we got to share our dreams as a family. So we had that dream, and then things started to line up in place. When our business got acquired in 2015, and so we thought we have a little more time, a little more change in our pocket. We took that sticky note down off the mirror and we went and bought an RV. It was because it was something we had dreamed for so long. We didn't hesitate. We kept the house, so we said we're going for 3 months. I wrote down a 3-month road trip within 5 years, and so it was about 7 years before it came to be. But 3 months came and went. We had so much fun. Carol and I got together with the kids and said, "You guys done? Like 3 months are over. You want to go home?" And we thought maybe they were missing everything back home, and they said, "No, let's keep going. We have so much more to see." By that point, we were actually in Moab, around here. We wanted to get down to Southern California and keep going, so we just kept going. And so 3 months turned into a year. A year and a half, we hit every state and every province, just to really seeing North America. We wanted to explore our backyard first, and then we were in California, and we started getting messages from back home, and our house had been robbed. And so that was one of the impetus to say, we had this home sitting there empty. We thought, we love what we're doing, we want to carry on, let's just sell the house. So we went back, put on the market, and sold the house, and said, we are now full-timers.
Okay, but you talk about it, but how scary really was that?
It's a huge jump, and it was scary. It was kind of bittersweet, closing the door for the last time. And
how long have you been in the house?
About 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And but we were ready for an adventure, and our kids were at that age, and we thought we only have so much more time before they're onto their lives, their school, they get married, whatever. So we said it's now or never, let's do this thing. And sometimes if you want to do something that no one else does, you have to be willing to do what no one else is willing to do. And that might be selling your home. You can't be attached to things if you want to live this lifestyle. So we went through a whole process of being free from things, and part of it was going down to Haiti and seeing how little they live with. Part of it was having all the things that we thought we didn't care so much about being stolen from them. Then you're all of a sudden free from them. But and then another impetus was my son getting ill on the road and being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and seeing him laying in ICU. There's something about that. Hopefully no one ever has to go through it. Just go from our experience, seeing a child laying there helpless, and it just puts everything in perspective. And you go, there's nothing more important in life than what we have right here. And so it was a no-brainer from that point. It's like, we are doing this, we're going to have fun together as a family, we're going to learn how to sustain ourselves on the road. We went from savings at first, of course, had some money from the sale and so on. And over time we said, we need to, if we want to keep doing this, we need to be able to sustain ourselves on the road. So if you're going to do it, don't be reckless about it. Don't just sell everything and then run out of money and have no home. You need a way to sustain yourself as you go. So there's things nowadays, especially with technology, that you can do to make money on the road. I'm a speaker, that's something I've built over the last 25 years, but you can do coaching or working online. I know people that do social media for companies, and they're not location specific, so they can do that while they travel. So yes, it's scary, but if you really have that dream, you're really excited about that dream, it's less scary, because that's what your goal is, not so much that house. 10 years in that house, a whole lifetime in houses, we lived that life. It was great. Right? It was wonderful. We enjoyed every step of the way. This is a new adventure. And I see everything in life as chapters, you know. So if we're doing this, we've been at it 4 years. If we do it for 5 or 7, that's another chapter. And someday we turn the page and move on to something else. But yeah, life is just chapters, and enjoy everyone no matter where you are. It's pretty nice. Yeah. And never compare. We put stuff on social media not for the purpose of someone saying, oh, my life is so boring, yours is so exciting. It's to inspire families to get together and do things. And my chapter 6 might be different than your chapter 2, so don't compare. Enjoy where you are now, but if that's your dream, keep that dream in front of you. It is possible to do.
Nice. Let's switch directions a little bit. So you guys have moved from RVing up full-time pretty much, other than some skips here and there,
right,
to now you're living out of your Jeep, pulling a trailer. So, and you're spending a lot more time out of campgrounds, dispersed camping, primitive camping.
Yeah.
So how do you manage food? Because if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you have a refrigerator with you, maybe a cooler as well or something. I'm not sure exactly what all you're carrying for gear, but there's 5 of you.
Yeah, and they're my height.
Yeah,
they
eat
more than me. I thought I was the big eater at one point, but now the kids. Yeah, so that's always a challenge for sure. We never pass a grocery store without stocking up. If you have that luxury, use it. We do use the fridge with all the perishables. Then we have, non-perishables in separate containers. And then we have, on this trip, we just have the one Yeti, one pen. But normally we have 2 full-size Yetis or big coolers. In New Zealand, that's how we would roll the fridge and 2 coolers. And what are we having tonight? After a grocery trip, the first 2 nights you know what you're having. After that, you're making it up. And you get creative. I mean, I think the girls should make a cookbook, or even the boys. They come up with meals that are made for campers. Someday we'll do that because, hey, we have cauliflower and we have some this left over and some of that. Let's see what we can make. And it's been so much fun, and we're certainly not going hungry out there. There have been times where we've had to put down the tent and drive the Jeep for absolute necessities.
There's always that factor.
Yeah.
Well, and if you've watched the Epic family, you've watched their journey. They don't eat bad. They're on the road full time, and they're eating good food. They're cooking it themselves, and it's good stuff. So
yeah, there's no. It's not like hot dogs every night. We cook full meals just like we had at home. So lately we've been getting into open fire cooking. It's an absolutely fascinating way to cook food. It's a Dutch oven made out of. The only downside is it's heavy, but who cares? We'll make space for that because you get the home cooked meals over an open fire. We have a slide out stove. We use a scuttle. If you haven't heard of what a scuttle is, it's one of the handiest things for being on the road. So we can cook anything and eat well. Yeah, delicious meals.
Sweet. All right. So we homeschool our daughter Bailey. We have a lot of friends that homeschool, and I guess when you homeschool, you start to get into that homeschool community. Yeah. And you guys have been homeschooling. Was that something you did prior to this, or is that something?
No, the boys were in public school for their early grades, but we always wanted to, but I was busy. We were just not overly happy with the curriculum. We got to figure out a solution, but somewhere along the line in our business life, we said if we homeschool the kids, we can take them with us. So actually before traveling, before selling the business, we actually started a kind of a beta test of this whole concept. And we have some good online programs where we come from, and so it's teacher-led. And so we started with my daughter and then the 2 boys a little later. And that was kind of testing grounds for this as well. I'd go to conferences and the kids would be able to come with me, right? So now they're doing their school, but they're also getting educated by meeting other speakers or talking to people. So when you get outside, the best education is going to be out in the world. So the teacher-led school was great here in North America, or at least in the time zones where it worked. But then as we got west, late classes were really late here, or early ones were really early. So we moved to a program called ILC, which is independent learning, which allows them to go at their own pace, download the programs, do the work, submit it, get their marks back from them. And that worked better, especially for international travel. New Zealand was 18 hours difference, so you're in the next day by the time they're in class, and it just, or 3 a.m. Before we switched, Caroline had to get up at 3 a.m. to have a test done by 5. You know, so the if you can find a program that allows you a bit more flexibility, and that's what we moved to, and it's been great.
So that was going to be part of my next question was, what are the obstacles of full-time traveling and homeschooling? I think that's one of them. Is just
one of them.
Time zones.
Yeah, definitely. For final exams, we have to be back in with a proctor. So they do it in a public library, and an actual accredited examiner does that. But the other challenges are when the surf's up and it's only 20 feet from where you're supposed to be doing school. Yeah, that's a big one. But that also creates self-discipline in the children, and they're like, get this done because the surf's up. Mountain biking and all the other distractions. It's going to be a challenge for you, for the kids themselves. Everything's harder on the road. Everything's more rewarding, more fun, but it's more difficult. Don't think it's going to be an easier life. School with a teacher breathing down your neck, making sure you do everything is quite easy because they make sure you do it. When you're responsible for it yourselves, you develop self-discipline, but you're challenged daily. Same with almost everything. Cooking's easier, sleeping's easier. Right. Going to the gym it becomes a routine. Your routines disappear, but that's the best way to live life.
Right. Nice. Okay, so when you made the decision to go full-time on the road, you had a plan and vision, this is what it's going to look like. How does it look different now than what you thought it would look like? What are some obstacles or some deviations, detours you had to take along the way and say, hey, it looks like this now?
Yeah, well, for instance, starting in an RV, and now we're going to sell the RV. For us, it was the best thing to start in an RV. We weren't used to life on the road. I mean, we did park in a Walmart one night because everyone said, and it was just, we were so out of our comfort zone. And there's people walking by and we're like, I don't know if this is for us, but we got used to those type of challenges in an RV where we felt really secure, a nice little motorhome. And the kids were younger. We've moved to a different lifestyle now because we're used to it, we're confident, we've built our own confidence and competency, and the children are older, and so that was one deviation from what we thought would be at the beginning. Other than that, we really didn't know what to expect. There wasn't as many YouTube channels to kind of learn from back then, so we just kind of launched out and learned on the road.
It sounds like in conversations on your videos and times I've heard you speak that your whole family's been part of the decision process, not just you and Carol just making the decision we're going to do this. It's really a lot of input from all 5 of you. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. That's how we ran our business. If you want buy-in, get people involved in the decision-making process. Top-down driven initiatives usually aren't really followed through on because kids are no different. In business, same thing. They want to be involved and feel at least that they contributed to a decision, and so we made sure we do that with the kids, and that's, I think, why they're still with us and still enjoying it. And they are often picking the next adventure, and we let them do it. So New Zealand was Caroline's idea, and I remember back then we said, we know nothing about it, Caroline. Go put together a PowerPoint, do your research, and sell us on the idea. And she did. She went to work for a couple of days, came back, said, PowerPoint's ready. We all sat down and she did her presentation. We said, that's good. Now we just have to figure out how to pay for it, but we're all on board.
Sweet. Hey, one last question. There's a lot of families out there that would love to do what you're doing or do it part-time. Yeah. But there's that fear factor of, hey, I've never done this. We don't even own a tent. We don't have nothing. We have nowhere to start. We don't have a whole rig. We're not set up for all of that. What would you say to a family that was like you before? Just to get going, just to get started, part-time, full-time, just to get those wheels turning.
Right. I would, a show like this, so we're at the Overland Expo West and there's one in the East. These type of shows, we learned tons from this. When we're transitioning to overlanding, we didn't know what that meant, and we learned everything really in one show. We sat at all the round tables, we met people, other families that were doing it. So a couple of things, find a good YouTube channel that has information like yours. Go to a show that provides content and training and round tables and all that kind of stuff. Like at Overland Expo, that's a great resource. And just do your research, whatever venue work or source of information works for you. Because you can learn so much from people that have already done it.
Sure.
It'll shorten your curve and get rid of some of the fears that you have when you see other people being successful at it.
Definitely a lot to learn from other people's experience. We've learned a lot just from watching you guys. I mean, a lot. And then, watching Brad at Trail Recon and the other guys, and just watching whatever we can to learn, and just saying, okay, let's take a step. I mean, I remember years ago we camped in our backyard.
Yeah.
We bought a new tent. We went out to the mountains.
Yeah.
We got there. There was snow on the ground. We got up there late because we got lost. It was in the dark. We'd never set this tent up before.
Yeah.
We were freezing. We went home. The next day, set the tent up in our backyard. Said, let's learn how to do this. We camped out in our backyard.
Nice.
And then we just started the process, and here we are trying to travel as much as possible.
That's exactly our story as well. We set up our tent in our backyard. We had some acreage, and we went back there. And it's a great way to start. You don't have to start with a huge international expedition. Start in your backyard, or there's probably a hiking trail. We drove by this hiking trail for years, and then we realized, wow, amazing hiking, a mile down the road. So we did all our exploring there, kind of learned how to do it. So that's great advice too. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Peter, it has been a huge pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and your family as well. You guys have been a massive encouragement to us, and I know thousands and thousands of others. Awesome. So, hey, check out Epic Family Road Trip. What's the next big adventure? You got a little promo?
Yeah, well, from here, we're in Arizona right now. We're going to be camping on the north rim of the Grand Canyon, which will be a great experience.
Nice.
And then we're heading west to Oregon. We're going to head up the coast to Canada, and then we're crossing Canada, so through the mountains and the Rockies. It's going to be beautiful. And then we're going to be off the grid at a cabin on a remote island. You check out some of those episodes. It's really, for us, it's not about Jeeps, it's not about vehicles, it's not about anything other than just spending quality time together as a family. We sit with teenagers and have conversations like they used to back in the day. And they're not on the phone all the time. And the kids are seeing that. The screens are fun and they stimulate you, but man, the nature has so much more to offer. And just being together as a family, that's why we do it. So, come and join us.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.